So let's talk about Resident Evil, the new Zach Cregger film that is going to be released this September 18th, 2026 to be exact. We just got the trailer for it, and I will tell you, I am pleasantly surprised with it. I've been seeing a lot of back and forth with people that don't really think he is getting the tone of the game right. Some people feel it feels like Silent Hill. Not here to discuss that today. Let's break down the trailer. Let's talk about it, and also some insight that Zach Cregger has shared with the trailer's release. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. On the road to 50,000 subscribers, we talk movies and all things you love. Let's get into Zach Cregger's Resident Evil. So the film will star Austin Abrams. You also have Zach Cherry, Callie Rye, as well as Paul Walter Hauser. The premise reads, Bryan, played by Mr. Abrams, is a medical courier, is in the process of making a delivery when a sudden outbreak occurs, forcing him to fight for survival. So I watched the trailer, and my first instinct was that this is definitely blending a lot of different games here. Even the beginning had me feeling like Resident Evil 7, like we were going to go to the Baker house. And I really loved the idea of the snow, because I feel like we don't really get that like world feel from Resident Evil games with the snow and all of that. And it should make for some interesting scenery. I thought the film looked gorgeous as well, the way it's shot. I think Austin Abrams looks the part of somebody who I would think would be in a Resident Evil game for some reason as well. And I am very curious what exactly he is going to deliver here. Is it something to do with the vaccine, with the T virus, or is it just a random like thing he's delivering? Well, Zach Cregger had something to say about that, and I'm gonna read it in a bit, so stay tuned. But I am very curious about that big white man that's at the bottom of the sewer, because that's definitely what interests me the most. When I first heard about the CinemaCon footage, we discussed it already. Not exactly what I expected it to look like, but now I'm just like, what the hell is this? Some people are going as far as saying that that's Duke, but according to Zach Cregger, this is apparently taking place during Resident Evil 2 simultaneously, if you will. And that's interesting there. Also, there are some shots here with some of the zombies running through. A lot of interesting creatures that are going to be emerging, it seems, as you can see, especially this one that appears in the doorway, which Zach Cregger has said that that is definitely going to be an interesting one, that he's very excited to see what people are going to think about it, because he's really thought more of this movie showcasing creatures and the T-virus going not just from the zombies, but to what they would eventually become over time, a sort of new like creature of sorts. So this movie's going to have a lot more creatures than it does zombies, according to Zach Cregger, which for me, that's a positive. I'm very excited to see what that means. It does say that there isn't a Nemesis type character per se, as we have Nemesis, Mr. X, Lady, and all of these other characters that pursue you throughout the game. It's gonna have something similar in that vein, but he says more of that homage was given to this big white man down in the sewer. So I don't know if this man's gonna be chasing you or not. I think that that definitely got me thinking to a Resident Evil 8 and that big baby that follows you throughout, which was, according to Zach Cregger, and I will also like concur, one of the scariest moments in a Resident Evil game in Resident Evil 8. So definitely got those vibes from that big white man right there. But I watched the video where Zach Cregger also broke down the trailer. So Cregger did mention now, though there won't be a lot of elements that are going to tie back into the game, that this is supposed to be canon during the events of Resident Evil 2. And of course that took place in a police station with Leon, and this is going to be something where Austin Abrams' character Bryan is trying to go into Raccoon City in order to deliver what he needs to deliver. According to Cregger, this is going to be very crucial and big part of the story as well. So that's why I was saying, could this be something of a vaccine or something that they need in order to stop the virus from spreading? Now, I won't give spoilers for Resident Evil 2 in this video, but it doesn't seem great to be going into Raccoon City around this time either. Something that he also talked about, which I didn't really notice on my first viewing, is that at the beginning of the trailer, we see that Bryan here is carrying a pistol. Then we see him pick up a shotgun. Then we see him pick up some more heavy artillery. So Cregger really wanted to feel like the games where you start off with very limited resources, but as you navigate through this world, you eventually find more and more that's going to help you and aid you throughout your journey. Also trying to find some resources to get you patched up. Even the green herb makes an appearance here, and Cregger confirmed this is the green herb from Resident Evil 4 as well. He described the big giant man as a big giant obese hairless man that was supposed to be inspired by the judge from Blood Meridian, because yeah, the judge is everywhere. And I really do appreciate these like pulls from other like art and all of that as well that filmmakers do, because it's interesting to have this character before we had the Blood Meridian film. Who's going to do the Blood Meridian film? We'll see. Krieger also discussed about how they shot this with a steady cam and also gave you that third person feel. So as Austin's looking left, you're looking left, and we also get a first person interaction as well throughout the film. So it sounds like he really wanted to pull you into the video game, which he says he is obsessed with. He says his favorite is Resident Evil 4, although this is going to feel more like Resident Evil 2, where there is a bunch of locks and keys you have to find. Even the character gets frustrated at some point saying, what's with all these locks and keys, which I think is interesting to see how this is going to feel, because it sounds like it could definitely work on paper, but I think that when movies try to be too much like the video game, it can kind of get a little bit like sketchy. But I think with Krieger at the helm and what I've seen from this trailer and how he discusses the love and feel he has for Resident Evil, I feel like he'll be able to bring it some justice with this movie here. I'm not the biggest fan of the Resident Evil movies. I think that definitely for their time, they kind of worked. I am curious as to why we're still heading into more action-y than horror, although Krieger does say that this is going to feel more of a thriller. I still think that it definitely works the best when it's pure horror. Although Resident Evil 4 is a bit more action, it's also one of my favorites. I do appreciate 7 and also 8, that claustrophobic feel and all. But you know what? This is what I always say with video game movies. Can't please everyone, because everybody has a different mindset when they play the games, a different feel, a connection. So it's just going to be impossible to get everybody on board with one specific project when it's dealt with something that is played differently by everyone. But overall, I really do love what I saw from this trailer. I think Austin Abrams is great. I'm very curious as to what he is holding. Could it be a cue or something that they wanted to get out there, or could he be a pawn on getting something to a bad guy? I mean, Wesker appearing, what would that be, right? That would be insane. But do I think that they're going to connect overall to the games at some point? It's a franchise, it's a studio, it's an IP. I think so. I feel like we'll get a cameo of sorts, whether it's on the TV or something, of one of the other characters, and this is going to build off into a bigger world. I think that this is great for them to test it out and see where people are with the games and the movies. Movie is on an 80 million budget, which maybe with marketing and all of that 120. This movie, I definitely see it going to $200+ million at the box office. Requiem was just a smash hit and really reignited the love and fire people wanted from Resident Evil. For some time now, we hadn't gotten that, even though 7 and 8 as well were amazing. I think people were wanting to come back to a world that felt more like the City-esque games, which of course 9 gave you some of that, and also the feel of Resident Evil 4 with Leon and 2. So it definitely is feeling like this movie is cooking up to have the right ingredients. Zach Krieger coming off of Weapons and also Barbarian, and just a stellar like performance from Austin Abrams. And you got a home run here. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this movie. According to Krieger as well, this film does take place just in one night, but there will be some time jumps, I'm assuming, to the past and maybe to the future that happen. Maybe we learn a little bit more about Austin Abrams' character of Bryan. We do hear him at some point calling his loved one and telling them that this might be the last time that they speak to them. Maybe he is realizing what's going on here, and it's interesting for him to be descending into Raccoon City as the city is descending into chaos, unbeknownst to him, as he's just a simple delivery driver, courier, medical courier, of course, carrying something very important with him, and going into a city that's just demented and lost at this point. And we'll see what happens, but I think that we definitely are in for a interesting treat here. What do you think about it? The film in itself, who do you think this big white obese man, as Zach Krieger says, is? Do you think he's Duke? I don't think he's Duke. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it down below. Excited for Zach Krieger's Resident Evil film this September. Comment as well. And as always, that's going to do it for me. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. We're about like 5,000 away from that. So super excited to reach that goal. And as always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.